made a big mistake just because I skipped through my own upkeep. You see, I played a game of cEDH with some of the fellows from the Commander community, along with Jordan, who was a winner of the most recent big cEDH event. But don't let the word cEDH scare you, because some of the lessons that I learned from this can be applied to any of your games as well. But anyways, I was on Winota Joiner of Forces, which is a deck that they lent me, and I really like this deck. I think I'm going to put it together in paper myself. Jordan was of course piloting the deck that he recently won the tournament with, which was Tymna and Thrasios. Now Jordan's turn was pretty wild, there was so much interaction that happened, but what he ended up doing was be able to stick a Hazel's Brewmaster, exiling a Devoted Druid in his graveyard, to create a food token that had all activated abilities of that exiled card, which meant that he could produce infinite mana because the food token doesn't care if it has -1/-1 counters on it. Now this was probably where my first mistake was. I should have cast this Orum's Chant in response to him untapping that food token, but because I didn't, he was able to draw his blue source and cast his Thrasios, which is then where I cast the Orum's Chant, which stopped him from casting any spells he would have gotten off of Thrasios, so since he already had infinite online, he just passed the turn from there, passing it to me, who I believe had the win on board that turn, but I made a huge mistake. I went untap, upkeep, then draw. And this is why understanding priority is very helpful, because I can't just skip to the draw step without passing priority to the other players to be able to interact. So as soon as I said I was moving to draw step, I was saying I'm passing my priority, and that's where he went infinite. But I actually had the perfect answer in hand, because Siege Smash has split second. As long as the spell is on the stack, nobody can activate spells or abilities except for mana abilities, which adding the mana is a mana ability of the Devoted Druid, but untapping it is not. You see, at the beginning of every step and phase, the active player gains priority, which is the player whose turn it currently is. Because it was my turn, I'm the first person that gets to put things onto the stack if I want to. So what I should have done was cast a Siege Smash the first opportunity that I had. He could respond with adding green mana, but he can't respond with untapping it, and that would just kill the combo. But because I said I was moving to draw step, that meant I was trying to pass priority until we get to the draw step, which meant that he had an opportunity to react. Because we don't move steps and phases unless all players have agreed that they don't want to take any action. And in order for them to even agree, that means I have to first pass my priority. So because I passed priority, when it got to his turn, he could add mana into his mana pool. Now some people might think that after he activated his mana ability, then I can respond, but mana abilities resolve immediately, and there's no way of responding to a mana ability. The next thing that people might say is that if you can't respond to the mana ability, why don't you just respond to the activated ability? Well, most people seem to think that anytime somebody adds something to the stack, they can respond to it, but what actually happens is that whenever a player casts a spell, activates an ability, or takes a special action, that player receives priority afterwards, which is what most of us call holding priority. In other words, he could activate the mana ability, which nobody can respond to, and then he can activate this, which people can respond to, but he can hold onto the priority to add a bunch of these onto the stack. So because I missed that small window where I could interact with this, he could just go infinite and I couldn't do anything about it. Of course, from there he just dumped it all into Thrasios, flashed out a Thassa's Oracle, and that was the game. All because I skipped my upkeep, but that's okay, I learned a lot.